Good afternoon, students. This is Prema, your biology teacher from BRGS. Welcome to my biology class. Today in this class we are going to study about the heredity and evolution. In the last class we already discussed about the definition of genetics, definition of heredity and variation, different types of variation. Along with that we already discussed about the monohybrid cross and also dihybrid cross. Today in this class we are going to study about the sex determination and types of sex determination. What do you mean by sex determination? Sex determination is used to define the sex of the offsprings. What is the exact sex of the newborn baby? We can identify through this sex determination. For this, environment and also genetical factors affect on the newborn baby. Sometimes the environmental factors, that means particularly the temperature, it will increases, sometimes it will decreases. That is also affect on the newborn baby. Next come to types of sex determination. Different types of sex determinations are there. For example, XX, XY, that only in the case of human beings. XX refers to the female, XY refers to the male character of the offsprings. Next come to XX and XO in the case of insects. ZW and ZZ type, that is comes under chicken, and also ZO and ZZ type of sex determination found on moth and butterflies. These are the different types of sex determination we are seeing in the different organisms. Next come to genetic factors include the presence of sex chromosomes. Genetic factors, which are the genetic factors influences the sex chromosomes. For example, in human beings, presence of two X chromosomes leads to female offsprings. We know that XX refers to the female offsprings or female progeny. Whereas presence of one X and one Y, that means XY refers to the male offsprings, that means male progeny. In human beings, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes or 23 pairs, that means 46 chromosomes are there. Out of these, 22 pairs of chromosomes are known as autosomes. Here totally 23 pair of chromosomes are there. In that 22 are the autosomes, that means body characters. That chromosomes refers to the only the body characteristics, body chromosomes, that is called as autosomes here. Whereas 23rd pair of chromosomes are known as sex chromosome. That means that 23rd only represent the male or female character in the newborn baby. That we call it as sex chromosomes. They are known as sex chromosomes of allosomes. That is also known as allosomes. That means sex determining. That only referring the sex of the character. 23rd pair of chromosome, also called as allosomes here. Sex of the offsprings determined by the chromosome inherited from the father, X or Y, that is come from the male. When the X chromosomes come from the male, that leads to the formation of female character in the new progeny. Y comes from the father, that leads to the formation of male progeny. Okay. Next come to evolution. What do you mean by evolution here? The sequence of gradual changes that takes place in an organism over a million of years and lead to the formation of new species is known as evolution. It will take so many years, millions of years after the years that will lead to the new species or new characters of the organism. That is called as evolution here. The evolution means the sequence of the gradual changes that takes place in an organism over a million of years and lead to the formation of new species is known as evolution. J.B. Lamarck was the first scientist who gave the theory on evolution. Lamarck is the first scientist who gave the theory on evolution. He gave the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Later on, Charles Darwin came and gave the theory of natural selection or Darwinism. Both are similar word, natural selection or Darwinism. According to his theory, evolution occurs through natural selection. What do you mean natural selection? Name itself indicates the definition here. Natural selection means nature itself select the organisms for the survival. That is called as natural selection here. Next come to theory of Lamarckism. What is the theory? This theory is also known as theory of inheritance of acquired character. We know that what you mean acquired character? It is copying character. Acquired means we are adopting the new characters. Okay, that is called as acquired character. This theory of Lamarckism also known as theory of inheritance of acquired character. Lamarckism is based on the following postulates. See here one by one. First postulate, living organism tends to increase in size. Okay, living organism tends to increase in size. That means population, it will increases day by day, it will increases. Second postulate, that is new needs lead to the formation of new organs. Okay, we are using new organ or new type of environment that leads to the formation of the new organ or the adaptation of the new environment condition. Okay, we are using daily, that means increases the uses of that particular organ that leads to the formation of the new organs also. Third postulate, that is continued use of particular organ makes it more developed and disuse of an organ leads to its degeneration. This is also called as use and disuse theory. That means using of the particular organ more and more times, that will increases their development. Also develop their organ. Okay, if you are not using the organ, that will disappear after few days or few many years. That is the law of use and disuse theory. Next come to fourth postulate, that is new characters are acquired by individuals during their lifetime. New characters are acquired. We are adopting the new characters by individuals during their lifetime. We are adopting new characters according to their environmental changes. Yes or no? That will belongs to our throughout the year or lifetime. That is also one of the theory of Lamarckism here. Theory of Darwin. This is the next theory, that is called as theory of Darwin. Darwin theory was also known as theory of natural selection. It is also called as theory of natural selection. Postulates of Darwin theory. Which are the postulates here? Speciation, that means formation of the new species. Useful variations from generation given rise to the formation of new species. We are adopting new characters that leads to the formation of new variations among the species. That leads to the formation of new species. That is the evolution of new character or evolution of the new species. Next postulate, struggle of the existence due to the multiplication of organism and limited food and space. There exists competition among the organisms. See here, struggle for the existence. That means increases the population, increases the struggleness among themselves for the space, food, for the different ways. Organism for struggle for the existence. Okay, competition, it will increases while increasing their population. Survival of the fittest. Survival for the fittest or natural selection. Nature selects those characteristics or organisms that are useful and are best adapted to the prevailing conditions. See, sudden environmental change, that is more affecting on the organism. Okay, that is called a survival of the fittest. whoever adjusting that particular environment, that will leads to the new environment, that belongs to the new environment, or survival to the new environment, that is called as survival of the fittest here. For example, industrial melanism observed in peppered moth in Britain. Okay, that is also example for the struggle or survival of the fittest. Next come to speciation, origin of the new species, that is called a speciation here. Origin of new species from already existing species is known as speciation. Already existing species are there. The new species are evolved from the pre-existing cells. That is called as speciation. Speciation can take place through different ways. First one, that is gene flow. Gene flow can lead to the speciation. It is a transfer of genetic variation from one population to the another population. Here some genes are flows from the one population to the another population by the reproduction process. During that processes, some characters are transferred from the one population to the another population. That exists the new organisms or new species. That is the one of the method. Next come to second one, that is random change in allele frequency known as genetic drift. See here, sudden heritable changes in the chromosomes or in the allele. Here allele refers to the genes. Changes in the genes also leads to the formation of the new species, that is called a genetic drift here. Next come to natural selection is another reason through which speciation can take place. Nature itself select the organism here. Okay, next the fourth one, that is geographical barriers such as mountain, rivers can also lead to the speciation. See here, some organism move from this place to another place for the food or for the reproduction, so many reasons. That is also leads to the formation of the new character. Okay, some particular organism move from this one place to another place for the particular reproductive methods. For this reproduction also we can clarify this origin of the new species. This is known as geographical isolation. Next come to evolution and classification. Evolution and classification are linked each other. Evolution brings classification. Classification leads to the formation of the new organism or new population, increasing the population, or linked each other. There are different evidence of evolution was given here, that is homologous organs. What do you mean by homologous organs? Homologous organs are the organs evolved from the same ancestor or same parents, but they have different functions. Same organs are evolved from the same species, but they have different functions. For example, forelimb of horse and wings of bat, both are come from the same origin, come from the same ancestor. Flippers of whale and human hand or other examples of homologous organs. They are origin from the same ancestor, but they have different functions. Clear? Next come to analogous organs. Analogous organs are the arises from the different ancestors but have same function. Example, wings of bats, wings of birds, both are similar, their functions also similar. Wings of insects also example for the analogous organs. Different ancestor. See here, different ancestor but same function. Next come to paleontological. Paleontology means study of the fossils. Study of fossils we call it as paleontology. Paleontology refers to the fossils. Evidence was also given for evolution. This dead remains of the organisms are known as fossils. What do you mean by fossils? Dead remains of the organisms are known as fossils. For example, Archaeopteryx possesses features of both reptiles and aves or birds. Okay, this is the linkage between the birds and the mammals. Archaeopteryx and birds. Next, this concludes birds evolved from the reptiles. That paleontology evolved from the reptiles. That concluded that according to the paleontology we can conclude that birds evolved from the reptiles. There are two methods for finding the age of the fossils. We can easily find the age of the particular fossils. See the methods. One is carbon dating and other is by the digging method. In digging method, the deeper the fossils is, the older it is. See, deeper the fossils, older the age. That means increases the age as deepening the fossils. Next come to one more, that is biogenetic law. That law states that stages of development of an animal embryo are same as adult stage animal stages. See, states that stages of development of an animal embryo are same as adult animal stages. That is called as biogenetic law. Next come to vestigial organ. What do you mean vestigial organ? Vestigial organs are rudimentary in nature. They have lost their function. There is no function through evolution of eyes. Flatworms have rudimentary eyes, whereas insects possesses compound eyes. In the first, humans have binocular vision. There is no uses of this organ. That's why we call it as vestigial organs here. Next come to evolution of feathers. Is also an example of evolution by stages. For example, dinosaurs have feathers but unable to fly. They have feathers but they can't fly. But late on birds used feathers but unable to fly. After the dinosaurs, some birds they have feathers but unable to fly. But later on birds used feathers for flying. That is called as evolution here. Evolution of feathers. Starting it will not work. After the generation to generation it will work on the different organs. Next come to molecular phylogeny. Molecular phylogeny. It is also an evidence for evolution. According to this, changes in DNA. Here molecular basis means that is comes to DNA. The DNA or RNA, that is comes under genetic material. DNA during reproduction are the basic events of evolution. See here, basic evolution brings by the DNA. Organisms which are related to each other most distantly, they will have greater differences in their DNA. See here, organisms which are related to each other most distantly, they will have greater differences in their DNA. There is no related with each other. So many differences are there. Evolution by artificial selection. Artificial selection, special phenotypic characters. They have that selects the special phenotypic characters to produce organisms with enhanced characteristics. For example, plants which are disease or insect resistance. Artificial selection can be used to produce different cabbage varieties such as broccoli, cauliflower, red cabbage. These are evolved from the single organism or plant, that is called as cabbage. That is called as artificial selection. That selects the special phenotypic character. That means physical appearance of the characters that can be selected by the artificial selection. That leads to the formation of new varieties. New phenotypical varieties we can identify by this artificial selection. See, this is the evolution of man. So many years the monkey changes their body characters, genotypic characters after billion years ago. That we called human beings. Thank you. We shall be continue in the next class.